Believe it or not, spring is around the corner and a lot of buyers out there looking to buy a house. And we know during spring, the inventory is really, really low. And spring of real estate is middle of January all the way to April. So if you are thinking about buying a house during springtime and you want to know how to write a very competitive and strong offer, please listen to this video very carefully because I'm going to give 10 tips on how to write a strong offer that will win you the house that you want. Hi, this is Heba Rayan. I am a realtor with Coldwell Banker in Danville and the East Bay, and I was a previous real estate appraiser. Tip number one, you want to know what are the exact seller needs. Ask questions. What is their move out date? What is most important to them, the price or terms? But I can tell you right now, write your best offer, the price and terms from the get-go, because when we receive multiple offers during this time, let's say we receive 5 offers. I do present all the offers to my seller, but we definitely look at the top 2 or 3, and those are what we counter. So you want to put your best foot forward. Then offer convenience. Find out, do they want a rent back? When do they want to move out of the house? If you can offer them rent back where they can stay in the house while their next house is getting ready, or for whatever reason it is, offer that to them. Tip number 2, and this is going to be about how would you make a decision on what is the offer price that you should put in your offer to win that house that you want. This is very, very crucial. And the way I work with my clients on this is I always provide them data with the information on the comparables. And what are the comparables? The comparables are the most recent sold homes within this same neighborhood, very close to the house, half a mile to a mile radius, and very similar to the house in the size of lot, house, and condition. So when they see this information, they will make an educated decision on how much should they offer on the house. And I'm going to give 2 examples on this situation, 2 scenarios. The first scenario is, let's say the house you want to buy is priced at 1.5. And when I pull up the comparables, you will see that the asking price was 1.550 and the sale price was at 1.650. So this information right there will tell you that if you want the house, you want to write an offer within the 1.6 to 1.650 price range. And I have to stress on this. Only do this only if you can afford to write a higher offer like that, and if you really, really want the house. If you can't afford it, that's fine. Just move on to the next house. But again, this data is great to have, and it's great for you as a source to look at and make a very well-educated decision. Scenario number 2, let's say the house that you're looking at is priced at 1.6. And when I show you the comparables, you will see that the most recent sold homes in the area were selling at 1.5 or 1.550. So this tells you right there that you have room to negotiate. So again, when you want to write an offer on a house, you want to know how much are those homes in this neighborhood are sold for, and based on the information you have, you'll make a decision on how much you need to offer on this house to win it. The reason I'm talking about this is I know in some neighborhoods and some cities, they price the house low, and it's a strategy to generate multiple offers. And you would know if this house will get multiple offers from the asking and the sale price when you see them right in front of you. Tip number 3, limit the contingencies. What are the contingencies? The contingencies are the conditions that protect you. So the contract itself has certain contingencies, and all of them do default to a certain period of time, a number of days. But if the market is competitive, you want to make your contingencies shorter. But before you do that, you want to know that you can perform according to the shorter contingencies times that you are offering to that seller. And I'm going to give an example on this. When you write an offer on a house, you have to present pre-approval proof of funds. And in the offer, there'll be a term about the earnest money deposit. So this earnest money deposit, when you get in contract, will go into escrow. And this money is still yours. But once it goes to escrow, you cannot get it, and the seller cannot get it without both of your signatures for release. So this earnest deposit money here in the Bay Area, customary is about 3%. In some cases, buyers offer more. So it's a very big amount. For example, on $1 million house, the earnest deposit is about $30,000, and you want to make sure that this deposit is protected. So when you write those conditions, make sure that you can perform according to those conditions, because if at any time you cannot perform according to the time frames that you have in your contract, this earnest money deposit is at risk, and you definitely don't want that. Tip number 4, offer a higher earnest deposit money. And as I mentioned, the earnest deposit is usually 3% of the offered price. And again, only if you can afford it, you can offer more money. And remember that this earnest deposit money is protected by your contingencies. Tip number 5, provide proof of funds and pre-approval letter. What is a pre-approval letter? A pre-approval letter is a letter from your lender that states that you can borrow X amount of money to fund your purchase. And the proof of funds is a bank statement that shows how much you have in the bank and shows the down payment that you put in the offer that you have. So for example, if you say in the offer that you have $500,000 that you will put towards your down payment, you need to show a proof of funds that show this amount and more for closing costs. Tip number 6, and this is something you should not be doing anymore. We were allowed to do it in the past, but not anymore. And what it is the letter from the buyer to the seller. And what that letter is, it's a letter from the buyer where they talk about themselves and about their situation, trying to affect the seller's decision on picking them. And this is not allowed anymore. And we used to call it the buyer's love letter. Tip number 7, align your time frame with the seller's time frame. If they need rent back, give them that option because that makes them feel at ease. Tip number 8, allow an appraisal gap clause. And what do I mean by this? Let's say the asking price of the house you're putting an offer on is $1 million. And the report that comes from your appraiser, from your lender, says that the house is worth $950,000. By you putting that clause in the offer that says that you can make that gap of $50,000, and of course you have to provide proof of funds that shows that you have this extra money to close this $50,000 gap. If you do not have this extra money of $50,000 or the difference, do not put that clause in the offer. Tip number 9, work with a skilled agent, an experienced agent that knows about all the terms that go in the contract and perform on time on all the terms that you put in, and always give you heads up on what's next, and is very, very good in communication. Tip number 10, make it clear and simple. The more simple and clear and straight to the point your offer is, the better chance you have to win that house that you really, really want.